Let's get into this, baby. We always, it's unfortunate that we have to lead with war news. But you know, we need to, that's why we call it the big picture, because we want people to be wide awake to really understand what is going on. So we got a couple of articles here, because not long ago, let's go back here. Let me take this article off and just share my heart for just a second. It wasn't long ago that we started talking about the movement of military assets to the Pacific realm. And we were told anonymously by people very, very well connected in the military, in the intelligence side of the military, that you needed to start looking for. And you need to go back and watch that video called War with China in 2024.
That was a great report you did, by the way.
Thank you.
It's chock full.
And a lot of stuff already that was in there is happening. We're seeing it happen. We're seeing it confirmed on a daily basis. And it's a drip, drip, drip of confirming that military is being seen.
It is a drip, but if we can think back to just a few months of, you know, our reporting and being here on Monday nights, we can see, surely you guys out there can see the ramping up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Think back to February, March. Think about how much more intense things are right now in the month of August.
Yep. So speaking of that, let's go ahead and show this. You know, right now there's two different fronts that are being confirmed now. This is, where's this article from? People's Voice. U.S. dispatched destroyers as Russian and Chinese warships appeared off the coast of Alaska. This was Dateline today. A large joint Russian-China military drill described as unprecedented in size took place just off the coast of Alaska, sparking alarms from the Pentagon. In response, the U.S. dispatched 4 Navy ships and aerial assets to the same waters near Alaska's Aleutian Islands. The ships, which never entered U.S. territorial waters, have since left, were shadowed by 4 U.S. destroyers, a P-8 Poseidon aircraft, U.S. officials.
Did this happen on Sunday? Yesterday? This article is not the easiest to follow. I know it was posted today. I was trying to figure out if this was something that happened like in the last couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, this was within the last couple of days. Yes. The exact time and location of the incursion has not been made public, but their last couple of days they're telling us that. So it doesn't really tell us because it's classified.
Yeah, there's some zingers in there, like largest such flotilla to approach American shores.
Go ahead and read that. Just go ahead and read that paragraph.
The drills by Washington's most powerful nuclear-armed rivals was called in the Wall Street Journal the largest such flotilla to approach American shores in recent history, but it never entered the American territorial waters.
Wow. It's revealed that the U.S. Department officials in a Sunday morning Wall Street Journal report said 11 Russian and Chinese ships steamed. 11. Think about this.
What in the world?
11.
Yeah.
But what we're trying to tell you is people think we're just dropping this clickbait, World War III. I keep telling you, you go to war with Russia, you go to war with China, you're in a world war.
I would like to know, was this broadcast on any television news?
Yeah. Have you heard this anywhere except here?
Not saying that I've looked for it, but come on.
Yeah.
The People's Voice, I'm not even real familiar with this news service, but thank God they've put this story out here.
Yeah, one analysis and retired Navy captain cited in the report said it was a historical first and highly provocative, particularly given the backdrop of the raging Ukraine war and the rising Taiwan tensions.
Hello.
The flotilla came close to Alaska last week, but has since left, U.S. officials indicated.
So, all right, here we are, NATO, America. Russia knows the level and intensity that America's involved with this NATO combat with Ukraine, all of this stuff going on. And here we are, they're outside our shores with China, 11 ships, largest flotilla ever.
Wow. And before we move on, I want to read this. It said, he explained, whether you live in Alaska like I do or not, or on the east coast of the United States, a very large surface action task force between our 2 main adversaries probing very closely to the United States shores is concerning. It just solidifies this idea that we have entered a new era of authoritarian aggression led by the dictators of Beijing and Moscow, who are increasingly aggressive.
It's just unbelievable. These are all the things that I marked down from this article about the new era and the historical first and highly provocative 11 ships. It's, I don't even know what to say. Every week I am just more stunned.
It's absolutely, me too. Yeah. And you know what's stunning is that ain't the only place it's happening. And we were told, going back to that article, going back to that episode that I did based on the anonymous intelligence tip, that the entire area of the globe is about to take in the largest transfer of military assets we have seen in our entire lifetime.
Is this referred to as the Pacific Rim?
I would say this is. I don't know. Somebody can help me out if the Middle East is considered. But
no. I thought you were talking about the moving of assets
to the Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, to the Pacific.
Yeah. That's to the Pacific Rim.
So this coming up story is different.
It's different. But keep in mind, it wasn't. But just a few weeks ago, we sent 3,000 troops to Europe.
Yes.
Now we have this happening. 3,000 U.S. sailors, Marines, reach Red Sea as Biden's Middle East.
I'm sorry, I was asleep. I was sleeping, and I just did not see this one coming.
Yeah.
Because this is a whole other different thing, right?
Exactly. A whole different thing. So now we're talking about troops. We've just sent troops to Europe. We're now talking about the largest movement of military and naval assets in our lifetime to the Pacific Rim outside of China and Taiwan. And now we are escalating the Middle East. 3,000 U.S. sailors, Marines reach Red Sea as Biden's Middle East buildup continues. Upwards of 3,000 U.S. sailors and Marines sailed into the Red Sea on Monday after transiting the Suez Canal in a pre-announced deployment. The U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet said in a statement, the reinforcements were carried abroad the USS Bataan and the USS Carter Hall warships, providing greater flexibility and maritime capability to the Fifth Fleet, the statement is seen. Breitbart News is reporting a U.S. Navy warship fired a warning flare to repel an Iranian Revolutionary Guard speedboat during a tense encounter in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, remember, not long ago, we saw in the same area, we saw ships almost hitting. They were storming each other.
So the reason for this is they're attacking basically industry, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, they are.
The movement of not necessarily supplies, but people that are, in transit with products, whatever, that are going to different places. And this is ramping up. So here we go, of course. We need to go take care of it, right? We got to fix things.
Yeah, with the world's police, apparently. The USS Bataan is an amphibious assault ship which can carry fixed-wing and rotary aircraft as well as landing aircraft. And the Carter Hall is a docking landing ship, transports Marines, their gear, and lands them ashore. So you're talking about you got two ships at least. One is carrying aircraft. The other one is carrying ground forces. And they're floating in the Red Sea, just outside of Iran, while Iran is threatening to help Syria and the others attack Israel. So look, you can the haters can hate all you want to and say all you are is fearmongers. Well, anybody that knows me know I'm not a fearmonger.
We're just reporting the news, folks.
Exactly. But when you hear me say World War III is coming, what I mean is, come on, let's use common sense. You've got a war that's happening in Europe. I call Ukraine a European war. That's what it's going to end up being with Russia. So you've got Russia, superpower. You got China, superpower, that is threatening to go to war with anyone that tries to help Taiwan. You've got Israel preparing to be in war with all of its neighbors from multiple sides coming in at the same time in the Middle East. You've got the United States sending troops to Europe. You've got the United States sending troops to the Middle East. You've got the United States moving military assets to the Pacific Rim.
Yes.
That is why I say that if all of listen, these people know that that America is weakened right now.
Right.
And they know we're about to go into a hot political season where everybody's going to be so consumed with stupidity.
goodness.
It is going to be the perfect time for all these little fires that are just kindling to explode.
Well,
I believe that's the plan.
Many of us here in this country actually don't need more distractions. We're distracted enough and not understanding what's going on or what it means, what it could possibly lead to. I mean, if we did a man on the street, what percentage do you think would be like, really? I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that.
Right.
War? Are we really close to war? You're kidding me.
Right. And look, this right here will answer the question about why. It says the deployment comes after Washington said its forces blocked 2 attempts by Iran to seize commercial tankers in international waters off Oman on July 5th. About a fifth of the world's crude oil and oil products passes through the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow choke point between Iran and Oman.
20%.
That's what it's all about. I mean, come on. It all ultimately comes back to oil. And for you people that think that we're going to move away from oil, you've lost your mind. This is all talking points and control. This whole thing about moving away from carbon products, carbon emission products, and moving everything to battery, that's control, y'all. They are not, the forces of the world are not going to move away from oil. Do you see? We are still defending oil.
Yes.
If we really didn't care about what happened to oil, we wouldn't be sending troops in the Middle East to protect the movement of oil.
Come on.
Am I right?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, we ought to be in some kind of advanced technologies, but we're not, and we're not for a reason. So here we are.
Yep.
We're still operating off of oil.
Yep. Here we are.
Yep.
And I love oil. I love gas-powered cars. I love being able to just drive wherever I want to drive, and if I want to fill up in a few minutes and be back on the road, so then have to spend the night in the hotel while my car charges.
Yeah, that's always a good day, right?
Yes. All right. So while that is going on, the world's economic system is collapsing right
Cannot
before
get
our
away
eyes.
from this, can we?
No, we can't. We will not be able to because the Bible tells us this is where the world is going. So one of the largest banks in the world, Bank of America insiders, begin to sell off their stock. Let's see what this is about here. Very interesting. In the last year, many Bank of America corporation insiders began to sell a substantial stake in the company. Knowing whether insiders are buying is usually more helpful when evaluating insider transactions. Insider selling can have various explanations. However, when multiple insiders sell stock over a specific duration, shareholders and banking customers should take notice that could possibly be a red flag.
Yep.
Over the last year, the biggest insider sale was the president of Global Corporate Investment Banking, sold
a whopping $7.7 million worth of shares.
Wow. I mean, that's nothing to just discount. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
So the last 3 months saw significant insider trading at the Bank of America. In the last year, the Bank of America insiders didn't buy any company stock. Think about this. You're not buying any new stock. This is signs of where the economy is going.
Also, in the last 3 months, so this other person sold, 2.4 million? I mean, overall, it's 14 million. But it can be seen and known no insiders are buying any more stock.
So on one side, you have insiders selling, and they are not buying anything.
And they don't.
If you have confidence in a company, you're continuously investing in that company.
And they know that people can easily find that out.
Right. But it must be so bad that they don't care. So while the U.S. dollar in the banking system, and some of you have thought, well, I thought we moved on from the banks collapsing. No, the banks are still having very serious trouble, and much of the smaller banks are going under that you don't even hear about.
Banks are still going under. They are.
And some of the larger banks are in trouble too, like the Bank of America, J.P. Morgan, some others are having some issues. So if you haven't smash that like button, do it now.
Please.
Subscribe. If you're new to our channel, let us know that you're new. Let us know where you're watching from, and share.
Well, another article that I was perusing and reading said the top 5 are in trouble.
The top five.
And get out of them. Get out now.
Wow.
We're using one of the top five, and I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. We need to research more into that. I mean, what do you do? Where do you go?
Where do you go?
Because on the other hand, a couple months ago, we were talking to someone that we trusted very much, and we were thinking about going to a smaller, maybe local bank. And they advised us, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah, because they told us if anyone's going to survive, it's going to be a conglomerate of the bigger banks, and they're going to survive. But it's beyond the banking, Sandy. It's the actual currency.
Yes.
And we have covered extensively on the Big Picture Live how people are moving away from the dollar. They're moving towards BRICS. We have G7 nations wanting to leave, like France, leave the G7, and they're petitioning to join BRICS. Now, we need to talk a little bit about BRICS because BRICS is exploding. You have China and Russia doing combined military action just off the international line of our country.
Come on.
And then you have BRICS, which, of course, is Brazil, Russia, India,
China,
and South Africa. But let's look at this article right here. An expanded BRICS could reset world politics.
That's just what we need.
I mean, but picking new members isn't so straightforward. Now, this article is talking about, and we'll get into this, an upcoming conference. What is it called? The BRICS. It's just called the BRICS conference. We talked about it earlier.
Summit.
The BRICS Summit. Okay, there it is. The fifth. I couldn't believe it. They've already had 15.
I know.
What? This has been going on. This is what I'm talking about, the drip, drip, drip behind the scenes that we didn't know anything about. BRICS has been having a summit for 15 years? Who knew? Okay, so this will be the 15th BRICS Summit in Johannesburg. Now, eager to escape the perceived Western domination, several countries, mostly in the global South, are looking to join the BRICS bloc. The five-country bloc, as we said, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is also looking to grow its global partnership. Who knew? They began in 2001 as an acronym starting off as BRIC, and then, of course, they added South Africa. And it says that watch this.
This is scary.
Is projected to account. Most of these are communist, third world communist and dictator countries. Not all, but most of them are made up of that. Right. And watch this. They are projected to account for 45% of the global GDP.
I guess when?
Yeah, by 2030. Ding, 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 ding. I need a sound effect that says ding, 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 ding. 2030. 2030. There's that number. Can we get through a week without saying 2030? I don't think so. It has evolved into a political formation as well. Crucial to this was these countries' decision to form their own club in 2009, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, South Africa joined the group in 2010. But ever since, the group has taken on a more pointedly political tone, particularly on the need to reform global institutions. The possibility of its enlargement has dominated headlines as it comes upon its 15th summit on August 22nd. Now, here's what I want to read to you, and then I want to hear what you got to say about this if I can find it. It says, BRICS, overly political. I'm trying to find where. There it is. Reuters has estimated that more than 40 states, that doesn't mean states like in the United States, governments, are aspiring to join BRICS. 40 more. Right. 13 have formally went through the application process to join back in May of 2023. So,
and Mexico is actually one of those, Saudi Arabia as well. Yep. But do you know who is getting favorable status over Mexico and Saudi Arabia?
Who's that?
Cuba.
Didn't know that. Cuba is getting favorable BRICS status.
Yeah. If any of the three were to be accepted into the club or whatever, I believe you can go down to the bottom if you're still on that last article that we were just reading.
Yes.
I believe it talks about Cuba. It's in one of the articles that we had for tonight. But yeah, Cuba.
Wow, Cuba. And here's the thing about Cuba. You remember what we told you last week and what I told you going back to that China episode that I made. If you have not watched it, and some of you need to go back and rewatch it, War with China by 2024, we were told by someone high in intelligence, in the know, anonymously, because they were concerned, is that they're not coming. The missiles are not coming to Cuba. They're already there, and they have identified the top 50 targets in America. Somebody commented the other day, by the way, and said, "Why don't you tell us who the 50 targets are?" Well, I don't know who they are. All I know is that 2 of them was in my state. That's all I was told. I don't know what the other targets are. You can just sort of imagine what some of them would be. But if Cuba is getting preferential treatment from BRICS, which is China is one of the main things, and they're doing Cuba, and they put missiles in Cuba,
Right.
that makes sense.
Who put the missiles? Does this feel a little bit like the Cuban Missile Crisis
Yes.
all over again?
Yes.
Who placed all of that hardware there way back in the early 60s?
That was Russia.
Hello.
And look, Russia, China, Russia, China, Russia,
Right.
China. They are the yin and the yang.
Yep.
They are brother and sister.
What was it, 13 days that crisis went on?
Yeah, that's what we were told. I wonder.
Something like that.
I wonder. Look, Billy said Bay of Pigs 2.0.
Hello. Thank you, Billy Mitchell.
I just hope
He's on it. He is just like on it.
he is. And I'm gonna tell you something. I just hope that we ain't stupid enough to try to send ground troops there. And
So, okay. So getting back to this BRICS summit,
okay,
I don't want to say I'm anxious to see what comes out of it. I'm actually have anxiety leading up to it. But obviously, we spoke on this weeks ago because, we didn't realize it was coming up until that article from several weeks back. But obviously, certain people have placed a lot of emphasis on this.
Yes.
And I'm sure they have their plans and their agendas and so forth. So they know what they're going in to try to achieve and accomplish while we sit here and wait and wait and wait.
right. And I want to show you this right here. It says the most notable applicants are Saudi Arabia, Belarus, which happens to be the place where the Wagner Group is based, that is friends with Russia, Ethiopia, Argentina, Algeria, Iran, Mexico, and Turkey.
And I believe Turkey, they just got a pat on the back several weeks ago, didn't they? I'm not saying they will be accepted on this go around, but they crossed some kind of hurdle.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're definitely in the more favorable status on that one right now.
Yep, so we shall see what shall come out.
So it's only 22nd through 24th.
Yeah.
So
and all we will know, and all we'll be able to report actually is either what's in the news or what's been leaked to some people that we can report to you. But the reality is this: what is really going to go on at that BRICS conference? I don't think we'll have any idea. We will not be told because they are plotting war with America.
CJ says 13 Days was a good movie, and I will absolutely have to agree with you. I was thinking of that when we were talking about the Cuban Missile Crisis and the 13 Days. I don't know how accurate it was. It's been years since I watched it, but it really brought some things to light for me because that was in the early 60s, so we weren't even thinking about being born yet. So
True.
Yep.
I don't think I ever thought about being born. I just got born.
And then you got born again.
Then I got born again. Yes! She's on it tonight, y'all. Okay, so we go on this show. We just go all over the place, but we try to stay in a line, going in a direction.
It's usually you with the rabbit trails.
That is true. I agree. I'm a rabbit trail. I'm a preacher. Come on, preachers go on rabbit trails.
Somebody buy me a coffee. I need some new. My ears are not working.
Your ear's not working? What? Are you serious?
It's my right when it's going in and out.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I'm in. I'm back.
You're back. Okay.
Momentarily. No,
All right.
it's out again.
Okay.
Never
Stop
mind.
messing with it. So, by the way, if you don't follow us on Rumble, I want you to go to rumble.com/Larry Ragland when the show is over with and follow us on Rumble. That is our backup channel. No, but let me say that. Let's stop calling it a backup channel. We love our Rumble family.
We do. They're amazing.
It's not a backup channel.
They were killing it last week.
Last week we had 5 times the viewers that we had on
Yes, we
YouTube,
did.
thanks to one guy
Yes, we did.
that just shared our show.
Oh, man.
Come on.
love that guy.
What was his name? Grandpa? White House Grandpa.
White House
Grandpa.
If you're out there tonight, White House Grandpa.
Come on, do it again.
Would you please just give us a shout out?
Yep.
Just say hello to us personally. I'm not even asking for you to send people. Just say hello.
Well, one of the things that fascinates me when President Trump came out with Space Force, people mocked him. They ridiculed him. They thought there's no such thing as Space Force, but there really is.
Listen, he was very efficient. He talked about it, and bam, it was there, right?
It was there. Yeah, I got a feeling it was already there. But
Something was up.
But the truth is, we live in the state of Alabama, and we are definitely a space state because of Huntsville, Alabama. Most people in the country know Huntsville, Alabama to be where the rockets are made and all of that. That's called the Rocket City around here. Well, it only makes sense that even when we went to the moon and all these kinds of things that we've done, a lot of it came out of Huntsville. So the plan was they were going to headquarter Space Force in Huntsville. But this is how political things are. We're just going to hit this fast. We're not going to spend time on it. But I just want you to know that politically, I'm just going to throw the headline up, and then I'm going to read something to you. And I'm going to just tell you this is just stupid and disgusting.
If this article is really accurate in its assessment, that's...
Okay, Alabama readies for battle over Space Command headquarters. You know, if what this is about is the Biden administration came at the last minute and did some kind of executive order and said, we're not going to send, the original plan was we're not going to send the headquarters to Huntsville, Alabama. We're going to keep it in Colorado. Now I want you to listen to this part right here. Alabama congressional delegation is fuming after President Biden nixed the relocation of the U.S. Space Command headquarters to their state and has warned the fight is far from over. Representative Mike Rogers, the chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, launched an investigation this week into the motives behind the decision after publicly alleging Biden's choice was political. Now, I want to show you one right here what they're saying.
Yeah.
It says the Biden administration's official rationale was that relocating the headquarters would take years, possibly into the mid-2030s, which would impact military readiness. By the way, listen to the words, military readiness, we're talking about space, okay? So if they're worried about the space being militarily ready by the mid-2030s, then what are they planning on doing up in space, okay? Think about that, which would impact military readiness. But a decision had to be made, recommendations were provided, blah, 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 blah. But look what Alabama lawmakers said, and I honestly believe they're right. Alabama lawmakers suspect a reversal was looming months ago and believe abortion politics was a driving force in the decision.
Yeah, let's don't make this political or anything like that, right?
Exactly. It says that, Representative Terry Sewell, one of our representatives, Democrat here, says that this, look what she said. She said the state's restrictive laws, talking about abortion, along with Tuberville's blockade, likely affected the outcome of the decision. I'm frustrated because I expected more from the Biden administration. I had hope for Alabama's sake that politics would not win out, but I certainly understand the feeling that you don't want to reward reckless antics of elected officials. Let me just tell you something, Representative Sewell.
Reckless antics.
I know you. I respect you. I've had conversations with you, but let me just tell you something. That's not reckless antics. We're talking about the life-saving of children and babies. That is not reckless antics. But it is very, very well known that that is the reason why you're going to block Space Command from coming to Huntsville, Alabama over political. You care so much about killing babies that you can't move Space Force. Try to tell me
what have we talked
that ain't
about
demonic.
Before? This abortion, this legalized abortion, is like the oil that lubricates the machine of Washington, D.C. But I have two things to say about this.
Come on, baby.
One is, so did you already know this before you whittled this 50 states that you were thinking about down to the 2, and you just wanted to allow this to blow up into something? I don't know. My second is, I'd be curious to know how close is it Colorado Springs, where this Air Force Base or
The
this
Air Force Academy is.
the base or the academy is?
Yes.
How far it is from the Denver airport, which the continuity of government is,
interesting.
said is supposed to be located underneath the Denver airport. How close are they?
Not to mention, it's
in
supposed to be
proximity?
where the cabal is, where all the underground demonic things happen.
So if anybody out there knows or can look this up real quick, how many miles apart is Colorado Springs, where this academy is, to the Denver airport?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because you're talking about a military aspect. If there's any truth to it taken into the 2030s to get a facility ready in Huntsville, which seems kind of weird since they probably have just about everything you can imagine over there right now.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Space-wise, it's not like you got to build a space city. You need to move it to a space city.
We already have a rocket city.
We have a rocket city.
Hello.
My God, you drive down the interstate, there's a giant rocket.
Werner von Braun was there for a while.
Think about it. It is political. And look,
We have Space Camp.
come on, space camp.
Somebody work with me here.
Space camp,
Okay,
y'all.
it's about 70 miles. Well, how convenient.
70 miles.
Maybe
Wow.
if you needed a little backup support to your so-called supposed continuity of government when something happens that you're pretty sure is probably going to happen in the future.
Well, let's not forget that Colorado is among some of the more liberal states as well, has declared themselves a sanctuary state for abortion. Come over here from another state and we'll do abortion. So that's
Okay.
a religious ritual, and you have the satanic stuff going on at that airport.
Hello.
I mean, we could go down some rabbit holes
we
right
need to
now.
take a moment one of these nights in the future and show those murals that are a part of that airport. But something else.
You know, some of them's been scrubbed. Some of them's been painted over and removed.
I did hear that.
Yeah. That's a weird place, y'all.
It is a weird place. But those murals are probably just more along the lines of predictive programming of what they have in store for us. But I just remembered something. Nikola Tesla had
come
a
on.
tower in Colorado.
You sure did.
He had one, didn't he? And you know what happens when you come out with a great innovative idea along the lines of something that Nikola Tesla is able to come up with? Somebody comes in and absconds with that and takes it away and militarizes it and uses it for their own purposes. Hello.
Yep.
Drop the mic. Thank you.
Drop the mic, baby. Woo! She's on fire tonight, y'all.
I'm telling you, I had too much caffeine before I got here, and
I'm gonna have
y'all
to-
are
I'm gonna have
going to
start-
feel it.
I'm going to start pumping you for some coffee, some double shot espresso or
Well, I'm
something.
going to tell you what, I'm all about the cold coffees now.
Yep. Hey, look.
I am all
Find this
in.
company for me. Find this company and tell them they need to be a sponsor of the Big Picture.
They do. I don't
Wide
know what
Awake
they're
Coffee.
thinking.
Yeah, what
Come
are
on.
they thinking? So, one good thing about it, Sandy, is with the economy going down and all this kind of stuff, you can always count on Sam's and Costco to keep prices low,
Except when you can't.
except when you can't. Costco now is reporting, shoppers are reporting a 250%
That does not even
price
say-
hike.
I want to know what they're talking about.
Well, I'm about to tell you. I'm about to tell you what.
250%.
On essentials, Sandy, you're going to be blown away. As supplies run out of stores, news reports revealed that Americans have started panic buying again. People are noticing that shortages are getting worse and shelves are getting increasingly empty. As we approach the last quarter of 23, some have decided to act now before they can no longer find household supplies and their favorite items in local stores. Many shoppers are buying in bulk, trying to save on costs and stock up for the future, and they're flocking to Costco for the good
Honestly,
deals.
since we're right here on this part of the story, that's what you want to do when you're trying to hedge against inflation. When you buy now and stock up, you don't have to worry for at least a little while about going back and paying 50 or 250% more.
Right. But in the past few weeks, it seems a large number of items are sold out at Costco warehouses, and new price markups are shocking customers who reveal increases up to 250% on Costco products. For that reason, this is a video that talked about it, goes into detail. A new analysis shows the main reason for the company's disappointing sale numbers: soaring prices at the retailer's warehouse. Customers pay a membership fee anywhere from $60 to $100. If you go to Sam's, it's the same thing, typical same thing. It says Americans are noticing a lot of sold-out notes on Costco's shelves in the past few weeks. And here's the 250%. One major example of this was the 250% increase in the price of 40 packs of Kirkland-branded water bottles. One Redditor reported that the bulk buy, which cost $1.44 as recently as a year ago, now costs $4.99. That's a 250% increase, or I don't know. I'm just assuming that's the right math. I have no idea. It used to be that the case at the beginning of the year. Just checked yesterday, $4.99, ridiculous. It goes on to say king crab legs, which I wouldn't know anything about. I don't buy king crab legs, was $23 a pound. Now it's $48 a pound. That's a 110% increase.
Well, when you eat bougie like that, you ought to be able to afford that, right?
Come on.
No, I'm just kidding,
no, we're
folks.
Not. We're kidding.
That's
we're kidding.
disgusting.
Yeah,
that's more than twice the amount.
Exactly. Well, it's 110%, yeah. So it's a little over twice. You're right. And it says they're sold out of frozen section due to high demand. Chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets are gone. They can't get chicken nuggets. What's the world going to do without chicken nuggets?
Well, the children are certainly going to starve. I'll tell you that right now.
You better believe that. Said they used to cost $13 for a 4-pound bag. Now they're going for $20, causing some customers to express their displeasure. I saw them today for the first time in a while. My jaw dropped when I saw the price. I just kept walking. I'm telling you, man, we don't even hardly like to go to fast food anymore, but you go through a drive-through and you get a combo for yourself.
Yes.
Just for yourself. Yeah. Not even going large with it.
$10.
It's more than that sometimes.
Is it?
It's what used to cost both of us to go through a drive-thru. It's insane. But we're supposed to talk about Bidenomics and all this kind of stuff. Right. We're coming out. Oh my God. What? We're not coming out of anything. We're going down further.
Yeah, we're always wanting to go to Jesus Chicken, but they're just as bad.
Yes. At least it's anointed.
Thank God for that Chick-fil-A Jesus Chicken.
Yeah, I know they got problems too before y'all start blowing me up in the live chat.
What? No.
You know, they had the DEI, they had the diversity and equity and inclusion person and all that kind of stuff. So, but we still love Jesus Chicken. At least, still Jesus Chicken, y'all. Come on. They know they're not open on Sundays. Give them something.
Hey, I'm giving them props for that for sure.
Give them props. Well, one good thing is happening is the whole, we certainly do not drink beer or nothing like that. But I did like the pushback that happened with that whole Bud Light thing because I think it's beginning to teach some of these companies a few lessons because bottom line is their dollar for a lot of these. Well, look at this. Look at this. All we hear about is plant-based meat alternatives.
You mean like with your Impossible Burger?
With the Impossible Burger and all that kind of stuff. Well, look what's happened to that industry. The plant-based meat sales continue the precipitous decline. The industry has.
Are they sitting there scratching their? Yeah, I don't understand it. What?
You don't want a plant-based steak? You don't want to grill? Can you grill a vegetable meat substitute? Come on, I want to know. Can somebody tell me? Can you grill an Impossible Burger? But I want to know. Can you grill a lab-grown piece of pork? I want to know. Not that I'll ever do it, but I want to know. The industry has lost tens of millions of dollars this year already. U.S. retail sales of plant-based meat alternatives continue to decline. Good job, world. Good job, world.
If you needed a sign if it was working or not.
Yes.
Corporations and big industry.
So proud of y'all. Don't you be eating that plant-based meat. When Noah got off the boat, God told him, look at all them animals. Kill and eat. One of the greatest things that ever happened in the Word of God, the history of mankind. Falling 12.6% to $106.8 million in 5 weeks, with units down 19.8% year over year.
Down over 19%.
Yeah. I mean, that's a flat-out rejection. We do not want to eat the bugs, and we do not want to eat
We don't want
the
your
lab.
Impossible Burger.
We don't want to
We don't
eat
want
the
your
lab.
pink slime. We don't want your lab meat.
Hey, you know what? Remember when I was doing my accent last week? I asked everybody what I sounded like, and they said I sounded like I want to say they said I sounded like something Arnold Schwarzenegger or something when I was going, you shall eat the bugs, you shall eat the bugs, you shall eat the bugs. I don't know what is that. What is that? Is that like a little bit of Asian, a little bit of Hispanic, a little bit of Schwarzenegger? What is that?
Austrian?
He's Austrian. But nobody says you sound like Austrian.
No.
Nobody says you sound like Austrian. They sound German. Okay, come on.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. I'll be back. But I always want to say, I'll be back. I want to put the Z in there because of Klaus Schwab. I don't know. Every language or every dialect I try to
they
imitate,
all sound the same.
They all sound the same. Yep. That's it. Well, last week we reported that there was a secret Chinese lab discovered in California.
With a hose pipe sticking out the side of the building.
And that's the only way we caught them. A hose pipe was sticking out the side of the wall. There's like, this is strange. This is supposed to be an empty building. Why is there a hose pipe sticking out of a block wall?
That thing looked like it was from the 1970s because I don't see any green garden hoses anymore.
Like that. It did look pretty old. So they're like, according to my records, this is an abandoned warehouse. Let's go inside and see, make sure nobody's sort of hoarding or living. Lo and behold, an entire China-funded Chinese lab with mice that were infected with multiple types of diseases, including the wah-wah.
And a lot of them were already dead.
A lot of them were already dead. And there were boxes of syringes, blood, all kinds of stuff.
Everything.
Well, look at this article. If that didn't freak you out, CCP was planning to launch pathogen from illegal California biolab, says China expert. Now, I've seen this guy, Gordon Chang. He's wrote a book about the coming China invasion. He is considered to be the prolific expert on the Chinese Communist Party. Listen to what he says. The Chinese Communist Party was likely planning to release pathogens from an illegal makeshift biolab recently discovered in California, according to China expert Gordon Chang. Chang, the author of The Great U.S.-China Tech War, explained that the hundreds of genetically engineered mice discovered along with dozens of infectious agents at a warehouse in Reedley, California last week means China was readying a deliberate bioweapon attack on U.S. soil.
And if any of you are out there wondering, oh my goodness, is this real? We had one of our viewers say she actually lived in that area and knew at least where it was or was familiar with the area.
Yeah, and she had actually already told us about it and gave us a heads up about it in the comment section.
She did.
Before we even did it, before we even covered it. The other thing they found was nearly 1,000 mice, 175 of them dead, that had been genetically engineered to transmit disease, Chang said on Fox News. So the only conclusion that fits the facts is that China was preparing to launch a pathogen from this lab, and I'm sure there must be others around the United States as well.
You know, that would be a reasonable conclusion to come to, right?
Absolutely.
And I don't know what they did with this place, but they should have lit a match and incinerated it with all that in there.
Absolutely.
And bless the people who were inside that building. We probably need to be praying for them.
Absolutely. At the very minimum, we need to be scouring our country. This is the premier expert on China's government of our country for facilities like this because we know what disease can do to hobble our society.
Yes.
He says the secret Chinese biolabs was in operation for months in this abandoned building before it was uncovered by inspectors. So we covered on the Big Picture Live here a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, that there were secret Chinese-run police departments spread around New York City and other states. Now we're finding there are Chinese-funded biolabs with deadly pathogens. Here's my question. Are we seeing why? This is not a racial statement. You understand? We always try to make it clear that we're not talking about the Chinese people because some of the largest, fastest growing church in the world is in China. Chinese people are not evil, but the Chinese government is. The Russian government is. And here's the thing. are we now seeing why the southern border is being inundated by Chinese nationalists, men fighting age as well as educated, very educated on our southern border? You know, well, how'd they get to Mexico? I don't know, but they're coming across that line into this country for some reason.
Exactly. It's a long, long way.
Long way.
To China.
Yeah.
But somehow.
Think about it.
Somehow they got here. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
It's just the hits keep coming, right?
Hits keep coming.
One after another.
Well, I was at a conference of just this past week, and a pastor, a friend of mine out of Houston, Texas, came up to me and he goes, "Man, I'm gonna tell you something. I watch you and Sandy on your show every week, and by the time I get through watching y'all's show, I don't know what I can do. I don't. My mind's about to explode.
You need an antidepressant.
They're like I think the world is coming to an end. They're like, I can't even handle it. How in the world do y'all handle it?" And I said, well, look, it ain't easy. We have to do a cleansing prayer at the end, pray them devils off of us and all this, because it's not easy to go just bam, bam, bam. But here's the thing. If we don't tell you, who's going to tell you?
Yeah.
That's the truth. And these are real things that are happening in our world.
If we did not do this show, I don't know if I'm telling on us, I wouldn't expose my own self to all of this. I wouldn't know for my own self to this extent.
Right.
Certainly, I read, I follow my certain little group of people that I follow to get news and alternative news, but I would never do a deep dive like this on my own.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I see the comment, Jesus freak. I agree with you. I want to clarify something. I want to agree with you. It says the Chinese government totally took over every church in China. Those are government-sponsored churches. The largest church in the world that I'm speaking of is not the government churches. These are the underground Christians. It is estimated by missionaries and people around the world that the secret true Christians outnumber any other country in the world, underground, hiding in small groups of 10 and 15 and 20, in basements, in caves, fearing for their life, fearing for their life.
Like those first Christians trying to be covert and undercover.
Yes. One particular pastor has been preaching for years from one page of the Bible, a Bible that was ripped out of his hands as people in his congregation was being arrested many years ago. He grabbed one page and was able to secure it, and he has been preaching from that one page.
Can we even understand the level of dedication and focus like they do?
Right.
No,
we can't.
We don't have that here.
We can't.
No.
Now, I think this next article, Sandy, is extremely interesting because, look, Elon Musk is the guy that you love and hate. You know, we don't hate, period. But I'm talking about, you just once you start saying that's my man, then you go, oh, wait a minute, he's the Antichrist. It's like he's either the greatest things ever happened to media, or he's the worst things ever happened to humanity. So I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. But he just changed Twitter to something called X.
Yes.
It's just called X, okay? There's a whole another show that we're going to do at X, but watch this.
Oh, boy.
This is why I bring that out. United Kingdom, UK scientists are now developing vaccines against a new future that they are calling Disease X.
Okay.
Would it not be interesting that if Disease X started rolling out and people were reading about it on X?
Yeah.
Just
way to get out ahead of something, right?
Just a thought.
Yeah.
UK scientists have begun developing vaccines as an insurance against a new caused by an unknown Disease X. The work is being carried out. Now, I want you to listen to this. Come on. They are making a vaccine, according to what they're saying, for a disease that does not exist yet. I want you to think about what I'm reading.
They must have some of the smartest people
exactly
in the world.
Exactly. Because listen to their words. This is their words. The work is being carried out at the government's high-security Porton-Down Laboratory complex in Wiltshire by a team of more than 200 scientists. They have drawn up a threat list of animal viruses that are capable of infecting humans and could in future spread rapidly around the world. Which of them will break out and trigger the next pandemic is unknown, which is why it's referred to as only Disease X. Sky News was escorted around the site, which is run by the UK Health Security Agency, to see the work being done in the high containment labs. Professor Dame Jenny Harries, the head of the UK Health Security Agency, told Sky News, what we're trying to do here is ensure that we prepare so that we have if we have a new disease X, a new pathogen, we have done as much work in advance as possible. Hopefully we can prevent it, but if we can't, we have to respond. Then we have already started developing and therapeutics to crack it. Yeah. One more early success in the world's first vaccine against Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever. Whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 200 top scientists. This is the narrative. Just working on potential animal things that can happen. But Sandy, rest assured, they are not working on anything specific that they know about that could be
They're on the case.
Planned.
And they're top notch. Yeah. But I can't. Okay.
I mean, I like what Lisa Marie's saying. I want to believe that, Lisa. She says Elon Musk has been exposing a lot of people and a lot of things. Could that be why he changed it to X, as in X-Files and Discoveries? That sounds good, Lisa. But this dude wants to put something in my brain, and he wants to control me from my brain.
And he wants you to buy one of his cars.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, look, I'm thankful for the free
and a
speech
lot of other
stuff.
things.
Did you know he's agreed? I thought this was a joke, but I mean, it's probably going to be staged, I'm sure. But he has agreed to fight Mark Zuckerberg in a cage match, and it's going to be live streamed on X.
I've been hearing
I thought it was a joke, but it's real.
For a while.
They're going to fight, Sandy. They're going to fight.
Is it going to be like pay-per-view kind of thing?
Oh, it's going to be money maker. Hey, look, I'll watch it. It's going to be streamed live on, I think, free on X. So you got Meta going against X. Who's going to win? Who do you predict is going to win? I think
well,
Elon
you would
Musk.
think Elon Musk, but
I think he's going to.
what if Zuckerberg pulls something out and surprises us all?
Although Zuckerberg has been training in karate.
Oh yeah.
He's been training in karate. I can't just say karate. I got to say karate. Wax on. Wax off.
Yeah.
Oh, you remember Kung Fu, the show, the TV show? Kung Fu, he goes, son, can you snatch this pebble from my hand? Can you? I remember a joke I used to tell all the time. This is going to be a horrible joke. Can you snatch this pebble from my hand? Grandfather, look, bird fly over your head. No, I don't fall for that trick. Can you snatch this pebble from my hand? Grandfather, bird fly over your head. Oh, no. Told you.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Moving on. Sometimes you have to do this to break the monotony, Sandy.
We have to do this every week.
We have to do this to break the monotony. So remember we reported just last week on the orb, WorldCoin.
Was that just last week?
I think it was last week, maybe 2 weeks, no more than 2 weeks ago. Okay. WorldCoin seeks to implement. WorldCoin is the sphere. Is that what we called it? The sphere?
The sphere.
The little silver ball that's showing up everywhere, people scanning their eyes in. WorldCoin, they're giving people money, this digital currency called WorldCoin, to do it. We're going to find out today. It is, that's right, no grasshopper. Grasshopper, I forgot that part, Billy. Grasshopper, can you catch this? That just fell over my head. It's been a long time. So they're giving them the equivalent of $2 a week.
Yes. Oh, wait a minute. What?
I think it's a week.
Okay, I thought it was like a one-time.
No, they get it for several weeks, for a few weeks. It's the equivalent of $2 a week, hoping that it will blow up one day. And thousands of people have lined up. Do you realize? You realize it's already been 3.5 million people have already scanned their eyes.
I thought it would be more than that.
It may
in
be.
Just this short amount of time. And my question is this: how many people would line up if they weren't getting WorldCoin, just because,
Oh, they would still be very
they
close
would
to that same
still
number.
be lining up. Maybe not in those numbers, but still in a large amount of people. You know why? Because they're ready. They want it.
They're ready. We've been programmed for this moment, y'all. That's why AI and all the UFO and alien talk is happening right now, is because we've been programmed for this moment. Yes. WorldCoin seeks to implement a mandatory digital global ID. That's what this is about, y'all. In order to participate in society. Something like World ID will eventually exist, meaning that you will need to verify that you are not a human on the internet, whether you like it or not. I think that's certainly
that you are a human.
What did I say?
That you're not.
That you are a human. Maybe, yes, we are still human. This is not a deep fake. This is the real us. I don't think a computer would spit us back out. They're like, we do not. I don't look at, especially at me. They're like, I ain't making no copy of him. One's enough.
Does
One's
not
enough.
compute.
I think
that you are human. Verifying that you are human.
Right. Because that's why they're selling it. Because they're saying AI. Think about this. AI is developing a technology for you to tell AI that you're not AI. How's that going to work out?
But come on. I don't believe that. They don't need that for that purpose. That's just that's more lies and something to...
Yeah. Exactly. So let's finish this. I think that's certainly going to happen with the progress of AI. It's probably going to happen in the next couple of years. Sam Altman. You don't know who Sam Altman is, you need to know. He's on the same level. You need to know him right now the way we should have known Bill Gates back then. Sam Altman is the head of OpenAI, the co-founder, and of course the head of ChatGPT, is now taking another one of his babies onto the world stage, WorldCoin. So it said that Wine Press, which is what we use, one of our favorite news sites, showed us about this in October of 21 when WorldCoin was still getting off the ground and still in the investment and piloting stage. Altman and his team designed a round metallic ball called the orb. That's what I couldn't remember a while ago, the sphere. It's called the orb, that allows users to scan their iris and create a unique profile in ID.
There it is. Bam.
Exactly.
That should drop the mic moment right there.
It is. It was first touted as being the next big thing for cryptocurrency. At the time, early enrollees and participants received free cryptocurrencies in exchange for their iris scan. You can see people lining up to get up in front of that orb there. At that time, Altman said he believed that his new orb would be a step closer towards universal basic income, UBI. But I want to read this right here, and then I want to tell you what I heard this morning on, I believe it was Glenn Beck's show. Network effects are there. Coveted things are incredibly big. You see this in Facebook. As soon as you suddenly have 1 billion people and everyday people holding something like that and using something like that, you as an entrepreneur can build completely new things. This is what I heard this morning. And there was an expert on Glenn Beck's program. I believe it was Glenn Beck's program. I was driving down the road, listening to it, and they were talking about this orb. And this is what they said, that Altman has proposed to make it open source. And I couldn't believe what I heard. This is what they said. They said the design is for you to be able to make your own orb. Everything that's in it. They talked about, you go to the website, and I went to the website to verify this. If you go to their website, they break down the schematics of every piece that's in it. They show you every material that's in it. And they're saying that their hope is one day that this would be something that people would be able to create, add to, be a part of, and be able to make their own orb and not have to pay somebody for the orb. And they'll be able to carry their own orb around with them.
Of course.
That is literally what they were talking about.
That's exactly what I want to do. In a specially made backpack, I want to do that.
This is insane.
It's insane. So my question is this. This looks like, to me, another one of these things that have been running in the background. We're going
Yeah,
about our
yeah.
lives, doing our little day-to-day stuff, and all this stuff has really been going on in the background that we didn't realize. But guess what? Now it's all starting to come out and pop out. And we're seeing these things about WorldCoin, and we're finding out about BRICS, and we're finding out about the WEF and Klaus Schwab.
Yep.
And all of these things are just bubbling up now. They're not just now kicking off. They've been going on.
Yes.
They've been
Yes.
working in the background. But now is their time when they are to come to the fore and come to the surface.
Yep.
And boy, it is coming out in force, right?
I mean, breakneck speed. Think about where they got to get us before 2030. This is what they think in their mind. They have got to expedite everything they've ever planned by 2030. Now, by the way, that is why every Thursday night we have this called the Kingdom Intelligence Report that brings these four men on here with us to dissect the things that are going on in our world. Last week, Paul Begley just blew everybody's mind. And then, of course, you're watching this live. The second Thursday of every week is Ricky Scaparo. The third Thursday is Stan Deo. And the fourth is Pastor Mark Carell, one of the leading Bible experts in the world. So I want you to go ahead. I wanted to throw that out there just to remind everybody to make sure live right here, 7 p.m. Central Time, this coming, if you're watching it live on Monday, this coming Thursday is Ricky Scaparo from End Time Headlines, and that's going to be a huge blessing.
Great.
But I want to show you this last part of this article. It says, in the age, the company wrote, by the way, let me back up here and says that the AI-funded universal basic income, the company wrote, quote, in the age of AI, the need for proof of personhood is no longer a topic of serious debate. Instead, the critical question is whether or not the proof of personhood solutions we have can be privacy first, decentralized, and maximally inclusive. Through its unique technology, WorldCoin aims to provide anyone in the world, regardless of background, geography, or income, access to the growing digital and global economy in a privacy-preserving and decentralized way. The key words right here is that this gives you access to the coming growing digital economy. So what I wanted to remind you is that what people quickly pushed back on us when we started talking about how fast we're going to CBDC and cash is going to be done away with. There were people commenting going, no, that ain't going to happen anytime soon. People are not going to give up their cash. It doesn't matter if you want to give it up. It's going to be deemed unusable. If you do not buy into, as far as money-wise, the digital currency, the CBDC that is coming, Fed now and all these other things that are happening, you're just going to lose, your money's not going to be of any value. Yeah. But the ultimate thing is,
how do you think it happens? You're given a certain amount of time to bring those old crusty dollar bills and currency in to get credits for them. I think that's the way to start off. Before it's, about to be worthless.
Yeah. And I think that they will put a timeline on it to threaten you. Basically, you will not lose any of your money.
If you come now.
But
guess what? If you just go ahead and be an early adopter and get in on this whole WorldCoin thing, you'll be so much further ahead of everybody else for that one world currency.
Yep. And the thing is, once your money becomes digital, here's the thing that you need to hear. I told you, they're going to sell it. You're going to start seeing commercials, if you're not already seeing them, that's talking about how awesome this is, how amazing this is. But what it's all about is programmable money. Yep. When this programmable money, remember what the words of WorldCoin said, this will give you access. If it will give you access, it can also take away your access.
But that's the part they're not going to tell you.
Exactly.
That's
why we need shows
they're
like this.
Going to say it out loud.
Yep. That's why we need partners. That's why we need people believing in us. That's why we need people praying for us on a daily basis.
We all need to understand this because it's going to be up to you to tell your family and friends and coworkers about this because they're not going to know.
No, they're not going to know. Well, another sign that that not only is the economy happening, going down the way it's going down, but we see what's happening with the open border. We talked about China, but here's something, Sandy, that's just very alarming. There is migrant colonias popping up around the country. These are vast spaces that are unused land that people are just going in, and they're turning them into cities. America's migrant colonias are growing with 75,000 in one alone. America's so-called migrant colonias are exploding in size amidst Joe Biden's ongoing yet underreported border crisis. Thank you for that super chat, Audrey. Appreciate that.
Yes, thank you very, very much.
With one of the largest known enclaves now hosting a whopping 75,000 plus people. Colonias, Spanish for colonies, have been growing on the U.S. side of the border with Mexico for decades and are populated largely by people with a Latino migration background. Around 2,000 such makeshift communities, often slum-like, this is tragic and sad, are now spread across border states such as California, New Mexico, and especially Texas, housing at least 850,000 people. Unincorporated neighborhoods established on largely undeveloped land, often in rural floodplains, living in conditions in colonies that resemble third world countries. In a non-third world country, by the way, that's us. Around a third of the residents have no access to clean drinking water.
Yeah, that was
sewage,
my question.
Electricity.
What's the water situation look like?
Exactly, or paved roads. The largest appears to be Colony Ridge in Texas, described as, quote, a sketchy assemblage of cheap single-family houses, mobile homes, and hastily constructed shacks. It has been developed over the past decade, and then it goes on to just talk about there's no proof of citizenship required. I mean, it's sad that there's the message has got across the border, not just to residents of Mexico and South America and Latin America, but obviously now China, Russia, people from all over Africa. The message is, we can't really promise you anything, but just come on. Yep. We won't stop you, and whatever works out, works out. And that's not constitutional. It's not good for the people that's coming across the border because the condition they're having to live in, it's not good for the people that are legally here. It's just not good. And that's not a hateful statement. It's just not right on so many levels.
Exactly.
And we're now beginning to see the environmental and the human impact that it is having.
Well, when you live in a very rough environment like that, disease can break out and spread. 75,000 people. Yeah. Where do these people work?
Right.
Where do they go to the doctor? How are they able to go shop and provide for themselves? I mean, obviously they are to some extent, but this has got to be a very undesirable way to live.
Absolutely.
And surely they did not think they were coming here to live under these kind of conditions.
Right, and I'll just hit this one very quick. Believe it or not, it's not just our southern border. Look at this article. Migrant apprehensions at one U.S.-Canadian border sector now exceeds already in this year the prior 9 years combined. So now it's like north and south of our country. Swanton Sector Border Patrol agents apprehended more migrants during the first 10 months of fiscal year 23 than in the prior 9 years combined. The unofficial report indicated the arrest of more than 5,400 migrants who illegally crossed the Canadian border into the U.S. since October 1st, 2022. So, obviously the message is out.
Yes.
There is no border in America.
Borders are soft, and if you were waiting on a time to go, it's now.
Yeah. And what kind of country will they find when they get here? Well, here's what we got going on here. The things that instead of worrying about, not worrying, I don't live by worry, but instead of concerning yourself with that we're getting ready to go to war and all this, you know what tops the biggest things? Lifestyle choices, sexual choices, gender choices, what you felt like today. And here's, one of the most famous, call it like it is, lesbian athletes ever. It's Martina Navratilova. Navratilova. Did I get it?
You got it, babe. That's awesome.
Navratilova.
High fives to you.
Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you.
I thought I was going to have to do an assist on that one, but you nailed it.
But I'm not promising I'll get the next time, so I'm just going to call her Martina. But, you know, she came out. She was one of the first ones ever.
Yes,
And very
decades ago.
famous, decades ago. But she is saying, hold up. She's blasting the U.S. tennis rules for allowing transgender players. It's not right. It's not fair. Tennis legend Martina Navratilova took aim at the United States Tennis Association for his policy allowing men claiming to be women to compete in the women's category, calling the policy unfair. Now, I want you to understand this. The United States Tennis Association, the women's version, has said it's okay and now endorses for a biological man who's dressed as a woman to compete in sanctioned tennis events.
Right. You know what? It doesn't matter if you're a lesbian woman. When you've had to get out there and blaze the trail and make your mark in history as being this top-ranking athlete, and, you know, she's obviously been retired for a long time or off the circuit or whatever, but to have someone come in and be able to so easily possibly take that away.
But look what she makes a point to say. She's making a point to say this is on the local level. This is on the college level. This is on the amateur level. This is sanctioned. But she says, come on, USTA. This is what she tweeted. Women's tennis is not for the failed male athletes, whatever age. Just in other words, if you can't compete in the male department, you don't get to come over here and compete against us.
Yep.
But watch what she says. This is not right. It's not fair. Would this be allowed at the U.S. Open this month just with a self-ID? I don't think so. So in other words, she's saying, you're telling the people that live in hometowns that they got to deal with this, but you're not going to let a man come into the U.S. Open on the tennis channel with just an ID they printed at home saying, I decided to be a woman and compete. You're going to make sure that a woman is competing there. And that's the thing. These high-profile people, they want to speak on these policies, support these policies, but they don't want them coming in and messing with them.
Yep.
Men are winning national titles, taking the place of women on team tennis, and competing in women's tournaments across the country. We need to let women and girls play tennis now, that they deserve to be treated fairly and recognized for their accomplishments. No matter when they pick up the sport, they do not have to reach any kind of elite status. There's already a category for male athletes to enjoy this privilege. Let female athletes enjoy the game of tennis too. And it goes on to show this picture. Male tennis player, going by the name of Alicia Rowley, is the latest women's national tennis champion and winner of the coveted Golden Ball. Rowley has recently won the women's 55 plus. There he is. I don't care if it's a felony in the state of Michigan to misgender. There he is in the middle, standing next to 4 women who came in after him. See how it's messing with me?
Billy Mitchell says he officiates high school sports, and it's already starting to trickle down to high school level. This is a local person, someone local to us where we live.
Wow. So we don't even like talking about this stuff on this show.
No.
But there again,
no,
you're not going to hear it on the level that you're hearing it now.
And this is not us picking on anyone.
No.
We just want to agree with Martina. She's upset about this, as well she should be, because it's not fair.
It's not fair.
It's not fair.
Well, look what's happening here. This is the state of California, the great state of California. They're just, you can always count on them to be holy and acceptable unto God. This just came down this week. California Attorney General launches probe investigation into a school district that voted to alert parents if children identify as trans. Now, let me break that down for you, make you understand what this says. A local school district decided they would make a rule that said if a child is being told or says they want to transition, the parent needs to be told. Yeah. Well, the Attorney General of the state of California opened an investigation of that school district to shut them down, determining that that was horrible but let's just read it.
Yep.
California's Democratic Attorney General launched a probe into a school district that plans to alert parents if their child starts to identify as a different gender. Critics say that he is trying to stifle opposition to the state's LGBT agenda in schools. The state's top cop, Rob Bonta, said Friday he is exploring, quote, potential legal violations by Chino Valley Unified School District in Southern California, alleging that its parent notification policy could, quote, expose the student to parental abuse or increase their risk of self-harm or suicide. Listen what they said. And I like what they said. The Chino board responded and said, this is a ploy to try to scare all the other boards across California from adopting this policy. School board president Sanjay Shaw said to the Washington Free Beacon, quote, we have united all over California, and people from all over the nation are linking up to protect our kids and ensure parental rights. This actually did us a favor and just revealed more of the agenda and exposed their intentions. I'm going to tell you something about the devil. The devil is stupid, and he always overplays his hand.
Come on.
And that's what he did with Bud Light. That's what he did with Target. That's what he's doing here. And he overplayed his hand to some extent. Some people are waking up. Some are just too far gone asleep. But when you started coming after the children, we've said it on this show. We're going to say it again. You live in a free country. What you do with a consenting adult, as long as you don't harm somebody else, that's your right to do it. But when you bring your perversion to the children, you will unite Republicans and Democrats. You will unite races. You will unite religions. Yeah. People will come up and say, that's too far.
Yep, as well they should. Because if we don't stand up and try to do something about this, I don't want to fall into the same judgment that's coming for those who are trying to perpetrate these acts, these things against children. There's some things that just, it's a given. You have to. You have to stand up for that.
Because if we don't, who will?
Exactly.
If not us, who? If not now, when?
There you go.
This is a call to action, y'all. That's what this show is about. This show is not just to relentlessly hit you with things and then you just turn the phone off, turn the TV off, just go to bed and go on about your life. No, this is a call to action. This is us trying to tell you this is what's going on in your world. You need to know how to pray. You need to know how to prepare your family. If you need to save a little bit here, you need to learn how to grow something outside. If you need to learn how to, if you lose your power, what are you going to do? These are the kind of things. We're not fear-mongering here. We're just trying to tell you this is the world that's coming. It's already here, but there's a whole nother level that's coming.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, you are on target right there with that.
You know, my mama used to say this world's going to hell in a handbasket. Some of y'all don't even know what a handbasket is. But I always say the world's going to hell on a bobsled. Yeah. And the only thing standing between us and somebody going to hell, between them and going to hell, is us. Yeah. We got to stand there. The Bible says, how can they believe in what they have not heard?
Come on.
So that's what we're doing right here. So let's see. We got about 30 minutes left. Let's hit these rapid chain here, and then we'll bring Jimmy in here. Grocery chain Kroger is now introducing a cake decorating robot. I believe we ought to just bring Jimmy in now because this is AI here. Ladies and gentlemen, are y'all ready for Jimmy? Come on, Jimmy!
Thank God.
Jimmy!
It's pretty bad, and you have to thank God for Jimmy.
Thank God for Jimmy. Supernatural AI update. You're supposed to say that with me.
I'm sorry. I'm just...
All right, I'm going to give you another chance.
I need another coffee shot.
1, 2, 3, go. Supernatural AI update. That's just cutting edge. That's cutting edge. All right, so going back to this Kroger thing, the machines will be loaded with hundreds of different pre-made designs and fonts for the customer to choose from. Late last month, grocery giant Kroger began the trial use of a cake printing robot made by BHEX in Gahanna, Ohio. The new cake writer machine which will allow consumers to input a custom message and watch as the cake is decorated in minutes on the spot. It's made by 3D food printing. Depending on the message, the decoration process will take 2 to 14 minutes. The machines will be loaded with hundreds of different pre-made designs and fonts to choose from. Can we watch a little bit of this video?
I wish we would. I really, really do.
BHEX. Look at their logo.
Mm-hmm.
Octagon.
Yep.
So look at here, y'all. Is this going to take somebody's job? Yes. Watch this. This is why AI is so amazing, y'all, and wonderful. It's going to help us change our life. So welcome to our booth. Watch this. This is actually it's pretty cool. It's also pretty scary. Precise vision. How many's ever got a cake and you were not happy with the person's handwriting? You ain't got to worry about it now. Look at this. Hey, look at this. I mean, look at how beautiful that is. I mean, it's literally perfect. Look at this.
Those flowers are impressive.
What?
Well, the writing is as well.
The writing is unbelievable.
So like you said, this is going to take someone's job.
Yep.
And
humans can't compete with that.
No.
There's no way.
No.
That's crazy. And see, I know what some of y'all think. Y'all think, oh, this is just a cake. You're making a big deal out of cake. This is just another example. The reason I show this is the beginning of the rollout of showing you.
Yeah, it's a little novelty now. Like you could stand right there. They want you to stand there and watch it and be amazed, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
People are going.
But look how fast that was. What in the world? But see, the reason we're showing you that is not because it's it's a big, monumental, life-altering thing that there's going to be something to make a cake and decorate a cake. That's somebody's job.
We need to look into that BHEX. That's
that was a little creepy.
That hexagonal shape in the bee, and we know that that's the shape that the hive is based off of, and the whole beehive. I mean, that's just.
But
it's a little too deep for me there. It
is. And everything's symbolism. I mean, I think we need to question everything right now. I mean, it's just like the forces behind all this is not good.
Right.
But it represents a job. Well, speaking of representing a job, some of y'all love White Castle. Around here, we don't have White Castle. We got Crystal.
You can get them in the frozen section.
You can? Okay.
Sometimes.
Well, what y'all, if some people are like, wait a minute now, it's like an abomination. Some of y'all that love White Castle, you're like, Crystal is not White Castle. But I can tell you something. Them little square burgers that you eat at White Castle, we get them at Crystal's. Of course, we never go to Crystal's. I don't know when the last time I've been to Crystal's, but this is interesting.
Wow.
White Castle's very well known around the country, is set to deploy, this is their rollout, of voice AI to over 100 drive-thrus. Other restaurants are following suit. This will be used to upsell customers while cutting expenses.
Man, I want to see them do that around here.
Yeah.
See them interpret Alabama.
yeah.
I want to see you interpret Walker County.
Redneck. Can I say redneck? I mean, country. Let's say country so I don't get in trouble. Country drive-through.
Oh, look at this. Cube hexagonal shape is the 666. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I knew we were onto something with that, right?
Don't go down the rabbit trail, Cindy. Stay focused.
It's too late.
White Castle will roll out voice AI to select drive-thrus through a partnership with SoundHound. That's an app that I use on my phone. It's AI. I've been using it for a long time. Didn't think about it when I first started using it.
Several years.
That you can identify a songs played in a restaurant or something. It'll tell you exactly what it is. The companies wrote in the press email, the technology will be added to over 100 White Castle drive-thrus by the end of 2024. Many of those drive-thru lanes will operate 24/7, and you ain't got to pay a single employee to answer the drive-thru. White Castle originally tested the drive-through AI in 2020 through a partnership with MasterCard, in which SoundHound provided voice recognition. The trial served as an incubation phase for the companies. That's like the babies in the incubator getting ready to be born. And SoundHound now works directly with White Castle. It's been an early adopter of restaurant automation, bringing Miso's fry cook robot, Flippy 2, to roughly 100 locations last year.
So they're going to have a robot inside
And outside, and the speaker.
Yeah.
So it's what their goal is. I mean, is it not very apparent that their goal is
You humans, you're just too much trouble.
to have a White Castle where there's no one there, and it's 24/7, and you're going up to the drive-thru.
And if we could just get a self-driving delivery truck to back itself up to the door, and maybe that little Flippy 2 could come out and just
Flippy 2.
unload the truck, we definitely won't have any need for humans at the White Castle.
Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I ain't going to lie to you. If I could get a drive-thru that could get these go, watch this. SoundHound claims that it has a 90% order completion rate, that average orders are taken and processed within 60 seconds, has a consistent, reliable, and always-on performance. Let me tell you something. If I could get a drive-thru around here to get it right 90% of the time, I'd probably be in favor of that. Because I'm telling you right now, they are not shooting 90% around here.
No.
They are not shooting 90%.
You act as if them recording your order is the only problem.
True.
No.
True.
No. It's getting it into the bag correctly.
But you know what? I'd probably prefer an actually professional sounding voice. Can I take your order, please? Instead of,
please drive through and be soon.
what? What'd you say? How many's ever experienced that? In this modern age, I'm like, one of them I went through the other day is like a brand new restaurant. I was like, you kidding me? You got a brand new restaurant and you got 1980s speaker technology still? What's wrong with you people? Moving on.
Thank God.
Amazon announces they plan, this is good news, to integrate generative AI with all their Alexa devices. Many of Amazon devices have additional sensors such as cameras and microphones that can add context to generative AI queries. Amazon has revealed that they seek to bring generative AI into households with their Alexa. The company's proprietary voice-assisted technology, which is already using what would be considered low levels of AI. Last year, Amazon announced that they would allow Alexa to learn the voices of deceased relatives so that it can speak the same way the dead person could.
You know, this just seems like this could go really, really wrong in so many different ways.
Yeah. I'm trying to scroll real slow because one guy told me this week, he commented and said, please stop scrolling so fast. You're making me dizzy. I'm sorry that I've made y'all dizzy with my fast scrolling. Why are you trying to read it? Let me read it to you. Just messing with you. All right, so Sandy, we got to kick it in high gear here.
All right. Afterburner. Let's go.
But now, this one's really important because, not long ago we talked about the ability that Texas labs at the University of Texas was working on the ability for AI to read your mind. And several of you said what I said that happened to me, that I didn't know if anybody was going to think I was crazy or what. I was thinking some things, and I know I never had a discussion with anybody.
I had somebody say that to me today. About something, completely different.
So when I said it that night, that all of a sudden I started seeing ads for something that I was thinking, people started messaging and commenting that they had experienced that too. And like you said, today we were in a group text where somebody said they were literally thinking about doing something, and they started their own vacation. And while on vacation, they start getting ads on what they were thinking about doing. It's unbelievable. But what I want to show you is this. Google, thank God for Google. You know, they're always thinking about the best things for us. They've got something called Brain to Music. Google is developing a mind-reading AI that can determine what music you listen to from brain signals. A study has been published by Osaka University that claims that with the power of Google's proprietary artificial intelligence, they were able to use it to monitor brain waves and determine what music subjects were listening to.
Yeah.
The process of reconstructing experiences from the human brain activity offers a unique lens in how the brain interprets and represents the world. In this paper, we introduce a method for reconstructing music from brain activity captured using functional magnetic resonance imaging. Our approach uses either music retrieval or music generation model conditioned on embedding-derived fMRI data. The generated music resembles the music stimuli that human subjects experience with respect to semantic properties like genre, instrumentation, and mood. That's crazy. In other words, they're gonna look at your mannerisms, and measure resonance. What is that frequency? Is our brains giving off some kind of resonance through our skull? What are they talking about, Sandy?
Well, show the diagram.
Okay, yeah,
The pictures.
yeah,
of the
okay,
diagram.
there it is. All right, so let's break this down. We provide supplementary material, including examples of a reconstructed music. So it's got music stimulus, then there's the brain, fMRI response.
It's the functional MRI, magnetic resonance
Then there's,
imaging.
Okay, imaging. Then there's linear regression, music embedding. Then they put it back into their proprietary software, and they reconstruct
Basically, they're reading your mind.
That's insane.
Supposedly in regard to music only, right?
Oh, yeah, just
nothing
music,
else.
just
Nothing
music,
else.
nothing else.
So the point we need to make here is if they're telling you this, they've certainly already perfected this one function.
Yeah.
And what else are they on to?
Exactly. Because we always say, if we're reporting it, we wish we could report what we're not reporting, because we're only reporting what they're allowing to be reported.
Exactly.
What else are they? If they're reading your mind and reconstructing music, are they not also reconstructing thought? Is it too far for us to think that they could possibly do that?
Okay. Well, you went there, so I guess I'll go there too.
Okay.
So there is a technology called voice to God or something like that, V2K or something like that, that some people believe have already been used in some crimes that have gone on. If I don't know how many people remember that Marjorie Stoneman Douglas high school massacre that happened a couple of years back in Florida. So if you remember, I believe the young man said that he heard voices. So this technology, voice to God or something along those lines, in this story we're talking about, they're reading your mind.
Yeah,
But with this other technology, they're voicing thoughts into your mind.
Wow.
To lead you to possibly commit crimes, to do horrific things. This is in theory. I'm not saying, yes, I know it's 100%, but these are the things that I've heard.
Yeah, so we're talking about if they have the technology in the air to reconstruct our thoughts, you're saying this hypothetical thing that you've heard about that's believed to be out there is all basically reversing that and through the air, going through and planting in some... And then, of course, then you really go down a rabbit trail and you think, okay, what if you had a Neuralink already in the back of your head from Elon Musk, the ability to transmit back and forth is where we're going. And so, yeah, I agree with you.
So they're reading you and leading you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Supposedly.
Aren't you glad you're at the big picture tonight? Look at this last thing that they said here in this same article. The genre and instrumentation in the reconstructed and original music match significantly more often than would be expected by chance. Out of all the genres, the AI could most accurately distinguish classical music. But look at this right here. In March, the Wine Press, which we got this article from, reported that a team of scientists at the same university, Osaka University, were able to convert people's thoughts into AI-generated images. These are some samples.
This ought to scare you all. I'm telling you.
Exactly. With 80% accuracy. Regenerate into images. Osaka University was able to convert people's thoughts into AI-generated images.
I know we have read articles in the past that danced around the same thing that you just said.
Yeah, that's right. But this ain't dancing.
No.
This ain't dancing around it. It's on the dance floor.
And I would say this, if this is happening now, how in the world do people think they're going to hide or be safe or keep secrets in the days to come?
Right.
In the worst days that are ahead of us. How would you possibly think you're going to stay on top of anything? Nothing is going to be able to be secret.
Right. So look, here's another one that I wish I didn't have to cover, but I have to cover it because the reality is this. The forces behind all of this control and all of this manipulation is not God. Okay? It's not good. It's not the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is not doing this. Now, the Holy Spirit can use AI. The Holy Spirit can use technology. He's using it right now.
Yes.
I mean, he's called us to do what we're doing. We're doing this for God. Okay? And for you. We're not doing this for the world. But we're doing it through demonically led and demonically planned technology.
Right.
This is going to be a part of the mark of the beast. This is going to be a part of what we read about. We know that.
Believe that, yes.
Okay. But we're using it as long as we can.
Yes, we are.
But we're going to show you when we can what's being done with this technology. And I'm just going to read the article, and there's 2 quick articles and we'll be winding down, but don't leave because the last one, you're not going to miss the last one, y'all. I saved the best for last, or the most shocking for last. Artificial intelligence is opening the door for predators to sexually abuse. I'm just going to let you read it. Experts warn.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence has made it easier. This is why we got to pray over our children, y'all, like never before, and teach our children like never before. Artificial intelligence has made it easier for predators to abuse children and harder for law enforcement agencies to hold these bad actors accountable, according to a recent report. Britain's top law enforcement agency, the National Crime Agency, warned that there are about 680, this is a big span, 680 to 830,000. I mean, you don't know which one that is? Adults in the United Kingdom that pose a risk. I'm going to let you read it. NCA Director General Bager said in a recent speech that the agency highlighted how the number is roughly 10 times the prison population and noted that it illustrates a danger on the internet. Due to the internet, these type of predators can easily access and share videos and images of children. And now with AI, NCA has started seeing hyper-realistic images and videos of this content. I don't want to read anymore, but I'm just going to tell you what this means is deep fake anchors can be deep fake other things.
Yes, they can.
And AI-generated images, I've played around with it. I've used some of the technology to make my thumbnails, where you can now go to a site and type in, create me a thumbnail of simulating war between the U.S. and China. In about 45, 50 seconds, it's going to get faster. It will literally create an image that is just for you of that. That might not be exactly what you want, but it will create it. And when you look at it, you realize this image did not exist 30, 45 minutes ago. Now it's a real image that's being created in its mind.
Yeah.
That's where this world is going, and that's why our children are at risk, and why we just at our church yesterday just had all our children up on the stage,
Yes.
And, of course, that's not enough, but it's something. We're letting those kids know we're praying for you. We're pleading the blood of Jesus over your life. We're unashamed to pray for our children. Amen. You got any comments on that?
I don't
it's
even
hard.
know what to say, to be honest with you. Yeah.
I know it's hard. I know it's
It
hard.
is. It is.
So I'm going to hit these real quick here.
Yeah.
And then because these are hard ones to take, and then we'll finish with something positive. Hail Satan, hail thyself. What the gender cult and Satanism have in common. It should come as no surprise that rebellion against God's design for humanity is satanically inspired. This is, after all, his mission. A self-described transgender graphic designer made national headlines this June when a number of her designs, I'm just going to read it, I'm not going to worry about it, were used in Target's controversial Pride collection. One design found on the London-based designer's own online apparel shop that had clothing for children. The message, Satan respects pronouns, encircling a goat head, Baphomet. The designers whose shirts features phrases like astrology made me queer and whose UFO-shaped pen says, no gender, no problem, doesn't claim on her site to be a Satanist per se, but says there's something magical about the unknown, the frightening, and the mystical, which is why I so frequently feature these themes in my art. Second article, if you don't think that there's evil at play.
Yeah.
AI's race towards human likeness is a modern Tower of Babel. Now, this is an opinion piece, but it is spot on. Like the Tower of Babel, developers are using technology to become would-be gods. The Biden administration recently held a press conference to tout that 7 companies active in artificial intelligence development has made voluntary commitments to create standards for safety, security, and trust around their AI technology. I feel so much safer. If this sounds like a bunch of smoke and mirrors, you're in a good company. But what are the smoke and mirrors hiding? The answer, it seems, was quite literally staring everyone in the face at a different press conference earlier this year. We covered this.
Yes, we did.
On July 7th in
Ding,
Geneva, ding, 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 Switzerland. Go back and watch that video that I had called the Portals of Hell, the Portal of Hell. The United Nations hosted 9 AI humanoids to answer questions posed by journalists. The AI humanoids had expressive faces, lips that moved, eyes that scanned the room, and heads that turned in the direction of the questioner. They also had their own backstories and culture. They had identifiable male and female characteristics and specific talents and careers. 2 even resembled their makers, which I think is very intentional because the Bible says we were created in the image of God. So, Sandy, I wanted to throw them out there because I want to remind you that I'm not afraid. I'm just going to be real with you. I don't know how you feel about it. I'm telling you how I feel about it. I am not afraid of AI. I am not afraid to use AI because the truth is we've all been using AI
Of course.
for many, many years.
Right.
It's just becoming the intensity of the AI stories is revealing to us how fast and where it's going. But Facebook is nothing but AI.
Well,
I mean, Instagram is
the
AI.
problem is we don't want to think about, because in our early days of using this, we're part of the problem. If you want to call it a
Absolutely.
problem,
Yeah.
we gave it more power,
Yep.
more foothold into our life. It was actually watching us
Absolutely.
and studying us and
Absolutely.
learning.
Now, I told y'all a few weeks ago, and some of you did it, and some of you didn't hear me, or you hadn't tried it, and you didn't believe me. But I told you that if you don't think your phone, if it has Face ID on your phone, whether it's an Android or an Apple, if it has Face ID, if you don't think your phone is constantly watching you, even when the screen is off, then the experiment you need to do is find a night vision camera, infrared camera, okay, whether it be your Ring doorbell or something like this. Wait till the lights are out or it's dark. Then you get somebody to take their phone, make sure it's off. Don't let the screen come on. And just walk through the hallway in the dark And then you look on the infrared camera, and I'm going to tell you, every 5 seconds, you will see just like a camera flash that will flash. It will be so bright, it flashes on your head, on the side of your body. You have no idea it's doing it. Every 5 seconds, it's scanning everything in the room. It's always doing it. It in every Face ID phone is doing it. And that's just a small thing of what it's doing. So I'm not afraid of AI. I'm not afraid to use AI, but I'm not going to empower it more than I have to.
Right.
And I'm still going to do the best I can to protect my family.
Yes.
And I'm not going to buy into any kind of system that's going to put a chip in my skin, put some kind of tattoo on me, and I'm not going down no one world government, no one world economy. Yeah. I don't know what the future holds for money. I have no idea how we're going to function with money. Mm-hmm. I'm not making any kind of predictions there. But I can tell you this, my last dying breath, I am going to fight against anything that reminds me of the mark of the beast.
Well, we're obviously being pushed into these kinds of systems, and I want to resist them as long as I possibly can.
Yes.
I mean, when it comes down to it, we have to serve. I'm not taking any mark. I'm not taking anything under my skin. But we all know that digital currency is coming.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely it is.
So.
Now, we have one more news article to show you that I do not want you to leave because you're not going to believe this one, y'all. One more, okay? Then we saved it for the last. But before we do that, before we show that last one, I want to remind you that if you want to help us for our television ministry, become a partner with us, go to LarryRagland.tv or LarryRagland.com. You can click the Give button. You can make out a check if you'd like to. Many of you have done that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all your support. Larry Ragland Ministries, the information's on the screen. You can send it to us. You can click that Give button. And everything you do is helping us reach millions of people around the world. Our television show is going live on World Harvest Television and Victory Television Network this coming Sunday night, Sandy. It's mind-boggling to even think about this.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. And they made it happen. The Big Picture family made it happen. So Sunday night, if you have World Harvest Television on DirecTV or Roku app, I believe it's 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, will be on television for our first opening show. It's Sandy and I, the opening show, telling our story about our book that you can get as well on our website. You can click and buy the book there. And we appreciate everybody that once you buy that book, go to Amazon, give us a review, go to Leadership Books and give us a review. Okay, so thank you so much for that. All right, so we got one more thing that we're going to show you. And when I first saw this one, I thought to myself, I don't know if I want to do this one.
You need to put your tinfoil hat on for this.
Well, look, I saw a while ago somebody said, I need that tinfoil hat right now.
No, you need it now.
I need it.
This is when you actually need it.
This is when you need it, okay? This is when you need it. Now, I love the nation of Peru. Mm-hmm. Our church goes to Peru every year. We take a team every year. I've been to Peru, I think, 3 times. Is that right? 3 times, 4 times? I can't even remember. 3 or 4 times. At least 3 times, maybe 4.
How many times have you been to Machu Picchu?
I've been to Machu Picchu 3 times.
Okay.
So I went by myself, went with both of my daughters. So I've been to Machu Picchu 3 times. I literally cannot believe that I'm even saying that. Because when I went one time, I thought, hey, I've seen it, done it, never be back.
Such a brat, right?
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I only went back because my children were there, and they asked me to go with them. So, but Peru is the hotbed for crazy history. Okay.
Oh, man.
I mean, giants, Nephilim.
You just don't even realize.
I mean, Peru is the center. That's where Timothy Alberino, all these people, L.A. Marzulli, they all go do their shows and have their conferences in Peru.
And it's not just that. It's not the megalithic buildings and architecture and all that. There's that whole trail of gold.
Yes. Yeah.
They're still looking for the gold.
Yep.
The giants, everything. But Nazca now, lines, everything.
Them Nazca lines is wild.
It's crazy.
I mean, you don't even know what they are until you're up in the sky. Yep. And they supposed to made them hundreds and thousands years ago, whatever. Mm-hmm. Now there's this. This is literally coming out today. Peruvian villagers report they have been attacked by 7-foot armored aliens resembling Green Goblin from Spider-Man. Terrified villagers in a rural district of Alto Nane, northeast of Lima, Peru, been there, not to that village, but been to Lima. I might have been to that village. Claim that they are under attack by 7-foot-tall armored aliens that bear a striking resemblance to the Green Goblin from Spider-Man. According to the locals, these extraterrestrial beings have large heads, yellowish eyes, and they have been launching nightly attacks on the community since the 11th of July.
711.
711. One alarming incident involved a 15-year-old girl who was reportedly grabbed from behind, had her neck cut when she resisted. The community members are living in fear, unable to sleep peaceably due to the constant threat. The allegations have been made by members of the Ikatu indigenous people who have described the aliens as being immune to their hunting weapons. The villagers are now urging the Peruvian military to intervene and protect them from these interstellar intruders. They claim that the aliens wear protective armor and have unique floating abilities, using round-shaped shoes with a red light on the heel. This is wild. Community leader Yaho Rayahua Vila stated.
So they float with or without the glider.
Yeah, exactly. Did they watch Spider-Man in the village?
They want that Oscorp glider.
They ate some bad pizza and watched Spider-Man in the village, and then all of a sudden they start seeing the Green Goblin. I don't know. But community leader these gentlemen are aliens. They appear to be armored like Green Goblin from Spider-Man. I shot one of them twice and he wasn't injured. He arose and disappeared. We were frightened about what's happening here in our community. Now look, this is hilarious, but at the same time, you know, if the devil can be transformed into an angel of light, and if the Bible says that be careful to entertain strangers, for you may have entertained angels unaware, it is possible that fallen angels could manifest to look something like this.
Come on.
This is funny on our end, but at the same time, if this is real, it's not funny because these people are being terrified. Okay. This is a strange story.
So this doesn't make the stories of Mothman and Bigfoot and all these other reports of people seeing things sound so crazy, right?
Right.
They're seeing something. They're scared by something. Something is happening to these people. And it's sad, but we shouldn't be shocked to hear of things like this.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say that this is real. I mean, obviously, we don't know if it's real. And we're not just trying to just report anything that's out there. We see these kind of things all the time. But here's why I reported this one, is because it's in Peru. Number one, Peru is a hotbed for demonic activity, demonic beings. We know that demonic beings existed in Peru.
Sure.
We know that. There is archaeological evidence that demonic entities operated in Peru. And we know that the Bible tells us that principalities, fallen angels, lord over regions.
Yep.
And they don't leave until they're driven out. So there is principalities there. And it's like, think about all the talk of UFOs, all the talk of aliens, that all of a sudden is mainstream.
Well, talk about the Bible. Men's hearts failing them for looking after those things coming upon the earth.
That it would, if it was possible, it would deceive even the very elect, is what the Bible says. And think about this. Jesus, when he was predicting the last days, he could have chosen any Old Testament Bible character, and all of the people would have known who he was talking about. But he only chose one, Sandy.
Right.
When he said, this will be the sign that you are the final generation, it will be as in the days of Noah. And we know that Genesis chapter 6, the days of Noah, was when the sons of God, which were the angelic beings, co-inhabited with the daughters of men. No, I can't explain how it happened. I'm just telling you what the Bible said. But the Bible says, out of that came deformed, hideous creatures who became the giants of old.
Someone should write a book.
Someone should write a book. I think I already wrote a book. It's called the Bible. But yeah, there's probably a lot of other books. But what I'm saying is, if we are that Noah generation, then we should expect to see heightened demonic activity, heightened deception.
Yep.
And when you take all of this stuff, this kind of story gets reported on the big picture simply because it's a part of this whole rollout. We call it UFO disclosure, but it's really not a UFO disclosure. It is a demonic disclosure. It is UFOs. It is aliens. It is demons. It is all of this. But at the same time, Sandy, I'm excited to say the resurgence of deliverance ministry is happening at the same time.
It is. It's wonderful. Just like in the days of Noah when they were manipulating everything that they could, this is what we're doing.
Yes.
We're doing those things right now.
Right. We are. We're doing those things. We're messing with genetics. We're messing with DNA. We're trying to grow babies in a lab.
Right. As it goes on to say, every thought was evil continually.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where we are.
Yes.
Corrupt society.
When you can think, when you can, as an adult and as a parent, think it's okay to expose your child to some of the stuff that some of these parents are willingly forcing their children to be exposed to, that's evil continually.
Come on.
That's Genesis chapter 6, evil continually. And that's why the end has got to be coming soon.
When a parent's first intuition should be to guard, to protect your child, and you just want to put them out there and expose them to all these things in the world,
yes,
that goes against the very intuition or, leading that God has given you.
Yes, yes. You better know how to pray. You better read your Bible, and you better stick together. You better learn how to stick together. Find you some people that you can trust and stick together because you're going to need each other. Make sure you watch the video about aliens with Standeo and also watch the video about the war in China. And then there's another video that I want you to watch called The Portal of Hell. These are all things that are very timely. Thank you for joining us on The Big Picture. We love you. You don't never know how much you mean to us. We'll see you next time. Bible study Wednesday night, Thursday night.
Thank you, everybody at Rumble. We love you all, too.
Love you, Rumble. Bye. We ain't woke,
but we are certainly awake.
God bless.
Good night.